Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I want to talk about a little about Selinux. Selinux stands for Security Enhanced Linux. It's a security feature that protects the system from unwanted access. It adds an extra layer of control on top of a normal Linux permission. In this session, I have a Rocky Linux and installed nginx on it. Look at here, I have already installed nginx on my Rocky Linux rpm-qa. We can query which package already installed in my server. I have nginx 1.20 etc nginx.conf, and I want to change this port to default port, which is the 80. Okay, 80. Now let me restart the nginx, and with the socket state utility in Linux, we can check which TCP port are already listening in my servers. We can see the port 80 are listening, open and listening, and the application behind this port is nginx. When I open my browser and type the IP address of this server, ip-br-c 192.168.85.76. This is my server IP address, and 85.76. We can see the HTTP test server, and I can change this page user share nginx html, cd user share nginx, and cd to html, and echo daemon to index.html, and when refresh this page, you can see the daemon here. Okay guys, now I want to change the nginx port, but when change the nginx port to another port, Selinux block this action. But what exactly is Selinux? Okay, let me tell you something about Selinux. On Rocky Linux, Selinux is enabled by default. I will show you how to manage your Selinux and how can you see the state of the current Selinux status. Let me to explain a little about Selinux. Selinux is enabled by default on Rocky Linux. This is a good because it helps keep our server safe. Selinux has three mode, guys. Selinux has three mode: enforcing, permissive, and disabled. In enforcing mode, Selinux is active and block any actions. Which action block? Any rules which doesn't exist in the Selinux default configuration. All of these actions were blocked. But in permissive mode, Selinux only logs action, but doesn't block anything. In disabled mode, Selinux is turned off. Think of it like a super serious security guard standing off the door of your Linux system. And this guard saying you, show me your permission slip. And in enforcing mode, this security guard tell you, I said no. And I mean no. This block anything outside the rules. In permissive mode, this guard say you are breaking the rules, but I will only complain about it. The log issue, it logs the issue but not block. Okay, in permissive mode, only log the issue but not block anything. And when we disable the Selinux, means that the security guard say you, I'm on a vacation, good luck, no protection. We don't have any protection in disable mode. To check the mode we can run, now I want to show you how we can check the state of the Selinux. We can run C status, SE status. You can see Selinux status is enabled, Selinux fix mount to sys fs Selinux, Selinux root directory etc Selinux, and loaded policy name targeted. This is the current mode, enforcing, which is already talking about it, enforcing mode. Okay, and we can run get enforce. This is in enforcing mode, but we want to set it in permissive mode. How to switch between enforcing and permissive mode? We have a command setenforce. With setenforce we can switch between enforcing and permissive mode. Enforcing mode, when we want to switch to enforcing mode, we have to run setenforce 1. This goes our Selinux to enforcing mode. We can see the status. You can see the current mode is enforcing. And when we set enforce to 0 and run set status, you can see the current mode is permissive. Look at here, guys. This mode from config file. Every time you reboot your server, Selinux read the configuration from this file. Let me show you this file. Win etc Selinux config. You can see the Selinux is enforcing mode, and show you the enforcing, permissive, and disabled mode option we can set in Selinux. By default is enforcing, and you can see from the set SE status here, the mode from the config file is enforcing, but the current mode is permissive. But what permissive? Because we already switched to permissive mode with set status setenforce 0. Okay, when I want to back to enforcing mode, setenforce 1 and SE status, you can see the current mode is enforcing. Okay, remember this do command, and we will back on these do command later. Most of the time we want Selinux in enforcing mode, especially for production servers. How does Selinux works? It uses something called context or labels. Every file, directory, and process has a label. Selinux decide what is allowed based on these labels. Sometimes we move files or change location. The labels become incorrect. Then services like Apache, nginx, FTP, or maybe Zabbix may stop working. You can see these labels with the ls minus with capital Z. You can see, let me show you. I have these files and directories in this current location, and with the ls minus z, capital Z, you can see the label of each file and directory. This is the label for use, which Selinux use these labels. Okay. Selinux logs are stored in your audit log. Where is audit? Tail-f var log audit.log. All Selinux logs stored in this file. These log messages show exactly what Selinux block. In simple word, Selinux protects the system. It may seem confusing, but it is a very important. With a little practice, it becomes easy to manage. I prepared a scenario for you, and I want to show you how you can manage your Selinux, or how you can add rules in Selinux for managing your Selinux, and always always create appropriate rules for your specific need, and set the Selinux in enforcing mode. Okay, guys. If I want to show you an example, I prepared a scenario which I already say to you. I have already installed nginx in this Rocky Linux. You can see I have a Rocky Linux version 9.7. Now I want to change the nginx port from 80 to another port, like 1010, or maybe 2020. Okay, 2020. And I want to restart the nginx. You can see job for nginx.service failed because the control process exited with error code. You can see the status of nginx service, or you can use journal.ctl to see the detail. I can use the journal.ctl-u nginx-service minus f. You can see this failed because permission denied. But what's happened? Tail-f var log audit.log. You can see some denied in this log file. Let me grep the denied and see the exactly what does denied. Grep denied. You can see the PID 5882 command nginx src 1990, and the last one is src 2020 context system_u system_r and so on. Let me switch to permissive mode. Currently I have in enforcing mode, but in permissive mode Selinux doesn't block anything, but it logs for us, okay, and store the log in the etc audit.log. Look at me, setenforce 0, and now we can restart the nginx. You can see the nginx restarted successfully, and we can check the status of the nginx service. You can see the nginx service is up and running, and this is the socket state. We can see the nginx listen on port 2020, and on our browser on port 80. Do not listen on port 80, and on port 2020, port 2020, but I think it's from cache. Let me 192.168.85.76.2020. You can see the nginx, it's up and running, and we can see our configuration file. Okay, but we disable but this is not our goal. Our goal is to enforce the Selinux, but we are in permissive mode. Fortunately, we have a very good command. This command is audit.log. With audit.log, we can generate a rule and apply this rule to Selinux, and after applying these rules, Selinux doesn't block this action. Let me show you. Audit.log is a tool that helps us understand what Selinux is blocking. It reads Selinux log messages and show us exactly which action we denied. Even better, it can automatically create a custom Selinux rules that allow these actions. So instead of turning off the Selinux, we can use audit.log to fix the problem safely. Okay, let me open my github.com, and in the repository, in the Zabbix, knowing the Linux command, in general working, I have a section called Selinux. We have to install policycoreutils-python-utils in our Rocky Linux. Okay, let me install it first. I've already installed it, and then we can see the log of the audit log stored in this file, and tail-f var or grep nginx var log audit.log. You can see the denied is about nginx. Okay, run this command grep nginx in this file and pipe it to audit.log minus capital M, a file called with nginx. Let me run this command. Look at this, guys. It generates for us two files, nginx.pp and nginx.te. These two files are a rule we can apply to our Selinux, and Selinux reload the configuration, and from and after applying this configuration, Selinux doesn't prevent these blocking. Okay, He say to us, run this command, selinux-i nginx.pp. Let me run it. This command takes us a little time to apply the configuration to Selinux, and you can check the status code return. Yes, return with 0 status code. And now you can run setenforce 1 and SE status. You can see we are in enforcing mode, and mode from config file is in enforcing mode. Okay, now you can restart your nginx. You can see Selinux doesn't block the nginx, and nginx listen on port 2020. And guys, it doesn't matter which application you are using. You can switch the Selinux in a permissive mode for temporary permissive your Selinux mode, and with audit.log generate rules and apply these rules, and then switch to enforce mode, and all thing is good. Selinux from that time, Selinux doesn't prevent anything from your application. SE status, you can see we are in enforcing mode, and mode from config file is enforcing, and SE status is enabled. Guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you understand the Selinux. If you have any question, please leave me a comment. You can text me, you can send me a message in Telegram, in LinkedIn, or email me. If you find this session helpful or useful, you can like our video and have fun. Have a good weekend.